Welcome to the one-hour version of Week 7 NFL Primetime. I'm Chris Berman along with Tom Jackson, and it will be odd to say that the only thing that we can figure out this season thus far is those Rams are pretty good.
As we like to say, it gets curiouser and curiouser.
It really does, although for a change, one of the NFL's storied rivalries was a division-leading game, and that certainly was refreshing, Tom. The Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Redskins, just like old times for first place. The Dallas Cowboys of Tom Landry and Roger Staubach and Tony Dorsett, and the defense with Too Tall and Randy White and all through the years. And the Redskins through the years, like George Allen, the Over the Hill Gang, and Sonny Jurgensen and Larry Brown. And the names go on and on and on. This time, it was a renewal of the NFL's Fall Classic. Washington at Dallas for first place. The Skins led by 21 points in their first meeting. Dallas won in overtime. Deion Sanders making a hit in the backfield of Stephen Davis. Setting the tone early for Dallas. Emmitt Smith. You know, a couple of years ago, we weren't sure he could still do this, Tom, but he looked good for 12, and here he is 6 yards.
And look where he's getting those yards, Chris, right up the middle of the football field.
Troy Aikman to Rocket Ishmael. Touchdown, and the Cowboys early on lead it 7-0. They said, all right, Washington, we're going to grab the lead this time. Deion Sanders takes the punt from Hanson, but he's nailed by Dan Turk. Oh, man, it was a double nail.
Yeah, Dan Turk from the front side, Mike Sellers from the back side. You can see exactly how hurtful that blow was to Deion Sanders.
Yeah, about Michael Irvin with the neck brace saying, hey, Deion, hey, you want to borrow this? I can't believe he's laughing about it. Rocket Ishmael with the end around. You know he can run. Down to the Redskin 12. It's a 19-yard pickup. And then early second quarter, Emmitt Smith, 1-yard touchdown, 17-0. How about that Cowboys for Chan Gailey? Still second quarter, Brad Johnson. And the Redskins finally get going. It's a seller's market. Mike Sellers, 33 yards, 17-7. Late second, same score. Ishmael on the reception is going to be stripped of the ball by Sean Barber. And Matt Stevens, number 23, gets it.
And what a great play by Sean Barber. Comes in and does a great job of hacking the ball out.
Sets up a Washington field goal at 17-10. Could the Skins be the comeback team this time? Deion Sanders checks back. Meanwhile, Aikman to Ishmael. And a great hit by Evans, but the concentration by Rocket to hold on. And David LaFleur has 3 touchdowns against the Skins this year at 24-13. Dallas back on top by 11. Brad Johnson, play fake, long to Albert Connell. Here come the Skins, 24-20, late third. On the ensuing Dallas drive, Emmitt Smith has to leave with a strained groin. But they still have Troy Aikman. On a free play, it's Jason Tucker down the sideline for 52 yards. Same drive, Emmitt back in for tough yards. Setting up, second and goal from the Redskin 1. Aikman, naked bootleg. Do I go? I know what's going to happen, but I'm going anyway. Boom! He gets plowed, but what a tough touchdown.
Well, one of the things we appreciate about Troy Aikman, his toughness, he hesitates right there about the 1-yard line, decides to take the lick and get the 6.
He takes the licking and it keeps on ticking, and so does this guy, Deion Sanders. He could go all the way with the score 31-20. Deion ices it 70 yards. Almost did it on Monday night with a little razzle-dazzle. He does it here, Tom. You look at it again. The questionable block looked like it clipped it, but let's watch it.
Yeah, and Deion Sanders, we didn't know how he would run. If he got out into the open, he showed at least some of that old speed as he got to the sideline.
Those guys have been at it a long time, too, those guys on the sidelines. And so the Cowboys have swept the Redskins second straight year. They win it 38-20. And now both the Cowboys and the Redskins are knotted in a first-place tie in the NFC East. Afterwards, Deion took the hit, and he says, you know what? I was a little fuzzy at times today.
I don't even remember half the game, but I assume by the score that they played well. You know, when I came back, everything was going real good, and so I'm happy for them. I hope you guys get off their back a little bit and give Chan a little breathing room. And I think, you know, Chan really challenged me this week. Indirectly, he said we're going to need a big return by our special team unit.
Well, you see some of the other numbers included. We showed you Emmitt Smith, 24 carries for 80 yards. And in that, he now has passed Barry Sanders. Only Walter Payton has carried the ball in his career. more times than Emmitt Smith, and they have 2/3 of the triumvirate there. And you know what, Tommy? Big game. Look, I know Dallas looked horrible against Philadelphia and against the New York Giants, but a big game. Troy Aikman and those guys and Emmitt Smith smell it, and I think that was part of the difference today, don't you?
You mentioned 2/3 of the big three, and when you think about how that team set the tone today, it was Emmitt Smith, it was Troy Aikman taking the lead offensively. And I think when you look at the Washington Redskins, certainly their wide receivers, Connell and Westbrook, challenged the defenders, Mathis and Smith and Deion Sanders, challenged those corners. They only caught 5 passes today, less than 100 yards. You saw 44 of it on Connell's touchdown pass. And then inconceivable that the Washington Redskins, that the Dallas Cowboys could choose to run up the middle of the field on the Washington Redskins, where you have Wilkinson and Stubblefield, where they spent all their money in free agency to solidify the middle of the field, and it just hasn't happened for them yet.
Well, Dallas ran for 108, not a huge number, but good enough. Troy, 20 of 32 for 244. Washington is much, much improved,
yes,
but it's still Dallas that understands the big game, and that's why they've beaten the Skins twice this season. Well, talk about a team that is one of the nicest stories in a long time. It's always fun when you see a team that for years and years and years has been horrible. Then they come roaring up. The city of St. Louis has never seen a playoff game in football. Not with the Cardinals, certainly not with the Rams. But the St. Louis Rams, home today against Cleveland, have certainly risen from the ashes. And the expansion Browns, you know, they have yet to win a game. That day will come. But against the 5-0 Rams, Marshall Faulk. Now, he spent the night in the St. Louis hospital with food poisoning, but then all of a sudden, here he is. Kurt Warner to Faulk for 8. Draw play to Faulk for 11 yards. So, no problem here, and they figure they spoon some more of Faulk out, and it's 9 more yards. And then, Tom, why does this work only for NFC teams?
I don't know.
Shovel pass. 13 yards down to the 1. On the next play, figure we use Marshall Faulk. No, it's a decoy, and Kurt Warner, touchdown pass number 16. Roland Williams, touchdown, 7-0 Rams.
Yeah, and you take a look at Marquez Pope here at the top of the screen. Now, he has to get the run-pass read. By the time he realizes it's a pass, Williams is already behind him and into the corner of the end zone.
On the Rams kickoff, Ronnie Powell will try to move it for Cleveland, but it's a fumble. And Charlie Clemens, the big man, Clarence Clemens, but Charlie Clemens has it for the Rams. Blowing the sacks. Warner to the Reverend Isaac Bruce. We've seen this before. 4-yard touchdown, 14-0 the Rams. 8 TDs this year to Isaac Bruce. 14-3 in the second. Warner to Roland Williams. Roland the headless Thompson gunner. 21-3 St. Louis.
Yeah, the guys on the outside and inside, Raheem Abdullah. You got a guy running a pattern right at the line of scrimmage. You have a second-level guy running at the back of the end zone. The defense has to play an in-and-out coverage, and right there they miss it.
Well, Marshall Faulk head to the locker room at halftime for an IV, but he comes back. Meanwhile, last couple of seconds of the first half, Tim Couch. Couch is going to score to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5, and Couch trips over the ottoman. A Dick Van Dyke play. He almost made a great play, but he's knocked out just before half, so it's 21-3. What about Orlando?
And talk about folding the defensive line. Look at Orlando Pace pin 3 Browns right there.
Faulk back after the shot at halftime. Look at the whoop with the move and the whoop. He bounces outside. 33-yard touchdown. My goodness, this guy had food poisoning. Dropped the chalupa. The Rams win 34-3. 133 yards for Faulk rushing. 200 when they add in his receiving yards. The Browns are still waiting, but this was not a game with the way the St. Louis Rams have been a juggernaut, Tommy, that Cleveland was going to come back and win, that's for sure. And you know what impresses us about the Rams so much? Offense, defense, and special teams, although they've lost their kick returner Horn for 4 weeks. But boom, they have some big plays.
All 3 areas of the football team complementing each other very well. And you look at today, it was typical for the St. Louis Rams. The first 3 drives, they have the football. Kurt Warner takes them into the end zone. They get touchdowns. So all of a sudden, up 21, up 14, up 17, what have you, suddenly the defense can play from a perspective now of getting after the other football team. So, yeah, it's a whole team concept, and I think that Coach Vermeil has done a great job of it.
We talked to him at halftime of our thrilling game on Thursday night that involved the Baltimore Ravens. The Chiefs played okay. And Dick said, you know, we just have speed on both sides of the ball, and that will present a lot of big-time plays we're seeing with St. Louis. Now, they're at Tennessee next week, and who would have thought that's the preview to the Super Bowl, huh? On Halloween, St. Louis at Tennessee. Yeah, they got Carolina twice. They got New Orleans twice. They got home games with the Giants in Chicago. This doesn't look like it's loaded with minefields. Meanwhile, as we go inside the numbers, I know, we're just putting these up here. Dan Marino's record-setting year in 1984 with the 48 touchdown passes and the 5,084 yards. Kurt Warner is still ahead of Marino's pace, and we're over a third of the way through the season.
Inside the Numbers is brought to you by Visa, the official card of the NFL. Log on to ESPN.com for more Inside the Numbers.
When we return to this hour version of NFL Primetime, Denver and New England. Miami having all their hands full with Philadelphia. With Tampa Bay being good hands with Allstott against the Bears. Minnesota put the rush on San Francisco. And Brett Favre, after a tough game in Denver, whoa boy, said not 2 in a row. The Chargers found out the hard way.
Today's Sports Century Classic Moment is brought to you by DirecTV.
In a game with no offensive teeth, Dallas rookie Craig Morton is sacked 9 times, while the Packers' Bart Starr goes down 5 times. The total passing count of 11 yards less than 0 is an NFL record for futility. In the end, Green Bay wins it 13-3, somehow, on October 24th, 1965.
Welcome to Football Fantasy. Let's meet our contestant, Chip.
What's your idea of fun on a Sunday afternoon?
Oh, that's tough.
Oh, toting the rock for 200 yards for my man Chip.
Yeah.
Throwing for 4 TDs, just for you, Chip.
I'm gonna order pizza with extra cheese for me and my pal Chip.
Yeah. Oh, time's up.
I can't decide.
You don't have to. You get NFL Sunday Ticket only on DirecTV. Choose the games and players you want to watch all regular season long.
DirecTV, what are you looking at?
11 straight times the Broncos have beaten the Patriots dating back to 1980 when Tom Jackson was Tiny Tom Jackson, the linebacker. So here we go to Foxborough, and Kevin Falk is going to run 15 yards for a touchdown. The Patriots a rushing touchdown, 7-0.
The right side of New England's line here does a great job of sealing while they allow Romanowski to run up the football field. Falk has an easy John into the end zone.
It's 10-0 New England. Olandis Gary, who had a $124 last week for Denver, is at it again. Let get him go 60 yards until Chris Carter. All he does, make tackles downfield, sets up a Broncos touchdown to make it 10-7. Now with a $1:15 left in the half, the game tied at 10, Drew Bledsoe to Terry Glenn across the middle, and watch the move he makes at the 42, and he could go all the way. Oh, and he gets nailed, but it sets up a 1-yard Terry Allen touchdown, 17-10 P-Men at the half. 17-13 third quarter, Terry Allen moves outside after an early move, and it's 39 yards. Same drive at 2nd and 10. Allen up the middle, and Emerson Boozer-like down to the 1. Then Allen up the middle, second touchdown of the game for him. 3 rushing touchdowns for New England today. They had 3 in their first 6 games. 24-13 New England. 3rd and goal for Denver in the 4th. Brian Griese, quarterback draw. Brian ran a couple of times well. Here's a touchdown, 24-20.
You take a look at the 5 wide receiver set there. Look at the middle of the football field. The only guy standing there is the official. Brian Griese takes a couple of steps back, and all you got to do is beat the pursuit before they can close on you.
Next possession, Denver on 2nd down. Griese to Olandis Gary, and he's going to make moves all the way down to the 8. Setting up a Jason Elam field goal, 24-23. Could New England fold again? Remember, Denver's won 2 in a row. New England has lost 2 in a row this season. Griese, the easy Ed McCaffrey. He is upended by Ty Law. He fought the law, and the law won. Tough catch by McCaffrey.
Yeah, McCaffrey did a great job of concentrating, but you can see right there, the ball is more or less laying on his arm rather than him holding it away.
3rd and 7 on the next play. Griese back to pass. Incomplete to Rod Smith. Setting up. It's a long one, though. 59 yards for Jason Elam. He's got a great leg. But this is sea level, not a mile high. It's short, it's wide, and the Patriots celebrate their first win over Denver, as we said, since 1980. New England back on track now at 5-2 in Denver, which made a little move. Now is looking way up at the division at 2-5. in a game in which, Tommy, both teams ran for 133 yards, but that's kind of an eye-opener, isn't it?
Well, 33 rushes for the New England Patriots the last 2 weeks, 28 today, over 100 yards for Terry Allen, and that was the key. This ball club was not supposed to be able to run the football, and they did against the world champs.
And that maybe prevented them from losing a game down the stretch, as we talked about this morning in NFL Countdown. Meanwhile, Miami won two very heart-stopping division games the last 2 weeks. Damon Heward with his first career start as Marino's arm still injured at home against the Eagles. Heward a draw for 11 yards, and that sets up an Olindo Mare field goal. Last 10 times Marino hasn't started, the backup quarterbacks have combined 1 and 9. But Heward says we can take care of that. Dumps to Troy Drayton, 27 yards. 2 plays later from the 18 to pitch to J.J. Johnson. Hair perfect. Run perfect. Down the sidelines, 10-0. D-men.
Yeah, and Heward can do a few things that Dan Marino can't. Not that Dan Marino can't do a few things on his own, but Heward here rolling out of the pocket, give him a bootleg. So you can put him on the move, allow him to run the quarterback draw here for 11 yards, as we saw earlier in the highlights. So you can do things with his legs that you'll never be able to do with Dan Marino's legs.
They didn't really want him to do this with a 13-3 lead. No, it's picked off by Brian Dawkins. He's gone to the races. 67 yards. Just keep running in there. Don't turn around yet. Touchdown, Eagles, and they're in it 13-10. Naturally, the defense, not the offense, scoring a touchdown. Olindo Mare. Look at the fade. It's a slight dog leg right. Par 4, Tom. 17 straight field goals for Mare. A Miami record at 16-10. 16-13 with 2:50 to go. It's a fumble by Cecil Collins. Jimmy Johnson. Hair not perfect. As Brian Dawkins, the same man that scored, comes up with a football. Doug Peterson to Charles Johnson, first down. Ace, deuce, and good use. Deuce Staley, 9 tough yards. Norm Johnson has kicked a 44-yard field goal for Philly. Kickoff man and long field goal man David Greenacres has kicked a 53-yarder. Depending on how long it is, 3rd and 2 from the 25. Peterson's going to go for everything. Incomplete to Charles Johnson, and so the call is Norm Johnson, through his career, one of the best in the NFL. It's up. Oh, and he pushes it right. It's no good. The Eagles could have forced it into overtime after a game defensive effort, but Heward and the Dolphins get away with one, so they've won close at the Colts, close at the Patriots, close against Philly, but guess what? All those closes heading into their road game at Oakland, traditionally a tough spot for them, puts them at 5-1 and keeps them on top in the AFC East. Tommy, so it's hard to read this one with Miami. I mean, look, you're not going to roll in games. This one on paper was supposed to be easier, so they won, but.
Well, let's remember that Dan Marino's not in the game, and Heward was making his second start in his NFL career. But I think that what they're doing a great job of is playing Jimmy Johnson football. 39 carries for 143 yards. Now, we always give you the stat. Under 25 carries, they don't win football games. But when you can get 39, 40 carries, it can make things a lot more comfortable for the quarterback position. It also plays to your defense in terms of letting them rest so that they can be their best when they get on the football field.
Collins had 97 yards. Look, Miami is one of the few teams that has a very good defense and can play some offense. It doesn't seem that that's going together this year.
It's not a lot of
Miami
that.
may be one of those few. When we return on this edition of NFL Primetime, Chicago, Tampa Bay, and the NFC North. This will be a pitcher's duel. And Lawrence Phillips and the Niners spring an upset in Minnesota.
The rugged Montana from Pontiac. With seats that create space on demand.
I need more room!
Pretty handy when you need room fast.
Never seen a minivan do that before.
Maybe it's not really a minivan.
Life is more exciting in Montana. Like Pontiac.
Today there are over 300 Red Roof Inns. We've renovated our rooms, brighter colors, better fixtures, but kept our rates as affordable as ever. How do we do it? Cheap commercials. Call 1-800-THE-ROOF and save money like you mean it.
Hi, I'm Doug Flutie, pro football player and father of an autistic child. I started the Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation to help less fortunate families of autistic children get the support they need. Here's a way you can help. Just dial 1010-220. All calls up to 20 minutes are only 99 cents, and 1010-220 will make a donation to the Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation every time you use it. So dial 1010-220, get up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents, and help some great kids at the same time. It's a win-win situation. I wish football was this easy.
Mike Tirico, Tommy, Sterling, Leslie Visser backstage, and all of our gang. Marty going to be on that show. Monday Night Countdown at 7 o'clock Eastern gets you set for the Atlanta Falcons, the Pittsburgh Steelers from Three Rivers. That's ABC's Monday Night Football at 9 Eastern. NFL Tonight, every night from Tuesday to Saturday on ESPN2, every night. Get your football news from Mark Malone and the gang at 7:30 Eastern Time for a half an hour. After bye, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers figured even though they were 2-3, they could get things going. Show me some offense. You know they have an excellent defense. And on paper, they were playing a team that, even though they had a little bit better record, the surprising 3-3 Chicago Bears, that maybe at the new sombrero, the Bucs would start their second half move for Tony Dungy. They've been encouraged. Trent Dilfer played well on that Sunday night game, albeit in a loss 2 weeks ago at Lambeau Field. But on this day, after the week off, yikes. Incomplete to Warwick Dunn. Dan looking for Jacquez Green, and he's open, but he's out of bounds. And then their rookie field goal kicker, who was 10 for 10, Martin Gramatica, is incorrect. His first miss of the season, and it's a 3-0 pitcher's duel. Let's see, what is it? Orojo against Wilbur Wood, I guess. Tampa Bay against Chicago. Cade McNown would have his problems, and Tommy had talked about it earlier, that, boy, they wanted to contain him.
The first thing the Buccaneers talked about for this weekend was trying to keep Cade McNown in the pocket. You can see how difficult it is. He does a great job of spotting the lane, getting outside the end, has outstanding athleticism once he starts running down the football field. You take another look at the end of this play right here. Watch Cade McNown, the nice spin move on Derek Brooks right there, and goes for an extra 8 yards.
McNown, though, is flushed out of the pocket in a 6-0 game in the third quarter. He's picked up by ESPN's Derek Brooks, nice enough to join us here in the studio last week. And McNown benched after this, replaced by Jim Miller because 7 drives, 7 punts. They're not the only team that struggled against Tampa Bay, but hey, Chicago's in the game. A touchdown can win it, and Dick Duran knows that, so why not go for it? Fourth quarter, a change at the helm. And Curtis Enos just kind of late to the hole here on 3rd and 4.
You saw the hesitation in the backfield before he actually hit the hole. If you don't hit it on time, it's going to close before you ever get to it.
It sets up a field goal to make it 6-3. Then later in the fourth quarter, Bears driving Ryan Wetnight. Good night as Brooks drills him, but he holds onto the pass for Miller. Replay shows Wetnight, did he not have control of the ball? Well, so he doesn't make it. At any rate, 3 plays later, it's not going to matter because Derek Brooks, who was immense all game, makes the interception. He had 2 picks, he had 10 tackles, and the Buccaneers defense, we said, boy, they wouldn't need to score so much against the next few teams they were playing, but we didn't mean this much. That's a little tight. 6-3, and the Bears are held to what? 272 yards. Tampa Bay's defense, and they couldn't be encouraged with what they saw offensively.
Well, you're not going to win very many games 6-3. They held McNown to under 100 yards passing. They got just over 70 from all-star rushing. He almost equaled McNown's passing stats. So, but you have to be able to complete the deal in the red zone to be a championship football team.
So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even their market 3-3, and the Bears fall to 3-4. Tampa with a game and leading Detroit next week. Well, Jeff George making his first start of the year for the suddenly offensive average Minnesota Vikings at home against San Francisco, but they're anything but average today. Leroy Horde up the middle, 19 yards. Opening drive, 2 plays later. George. Randy Moss, look at the throw, look at the catch. It was only catch of the day for Randy, but it sets up a 1st and goal. George. Jake Reed. Out of bounds at the 1. 4th and goal, and Dennis Green says, let's go. And the gamble pays off. Touchdown, Leroy Horde, who had close to 100 yards rushing in the first half alone, 7-0 V-men.
Yeah, Randall McDaniel lined up at fullback in the backfield. He's going to get on Winfred Tubbs right in what we call the 2-hole right there, strong side, and he actually makes Tubbs turn his back as Horde gets into the end zone.
Look at this, Chris Rogers hitting Jerry Rice. Rice says, don't do that. The Vikings said to Jerry, don't do that. The end of it all is the Vikings get a 15-yard personal foul penalty, and the Niners get a field goal at 7-3. Drum played a Horde, but Horde fumbles, and Darnell Walker's Johnny on the spot. He could go all the way. 71 yards, 10-7 San Francisco, who have only been an underdog as they were today by 7 points or more twice since 1983. But here come the Vikings. George to Matthew Molly Hatchet. Some heavy metal. 80 yards. Vikings lead it 14-10. Minute left in the half after a field goal by San Francisco makes it 14-13. Boy, everybody got in the action, Tom. This is Andrew Jordan with a touchdown. 21-13. 11 seconds left in the half. 8-point game. You just hate to see this. Garcia intercepted by John Randall, the big fella. Rumbles to the 15, which sets up a field goal. So now you're down 11 on the miscue in the final seconds. He's done everything except pick off a pass. Now he's done that, Tommy. John Randall, 24-13. Now, Chris Carter came out and said, you know what? I'm winded. I'm not going to really start the third quarter. That's kind of interesting. But meanwhile, he watched Dwayne Rudd with the block punt.
Yeah, great job of getting penetration from the outside, getting his left hand in there, and partially blocking that punt.
So the Vikings get the ball at the 22, and George, well, you know what? I'm going to put the pads on later on. Chris Carter, all he does is get dressed and
catch touchdown.
2-yard touchdown, 38-16. George has thrown 3 touchdown passes. And the San Francisco 49ers, Steve Young just with the ball cap, Steve Mariucci and Jerry Rice saying it'll be better days. But for the first time since 1980, and to put that historically, that's the last time the Niners were bad. They were building under Bill Walsh. That's the first time since 1980 that the 49ers have lost 3 straight games, 40-16. Jeff George, as a starter, lit up the offense.
It was tough for us, coming off of being 2-4 and coming in and saying, hey, we have to win this game, and you're facing the 49ers. It took a lot of guts.
We were entering into a place where we haven't been before, and our back is against the wall, and we've got so much work to do.
Well, Jeff George, 15 of 28 to 3 touchdowns for 250. And as we go inside the numbers, the San Francisco 49ers have given up over 40 points now. 3 different games this year. They've given up 113 points the last 3 games. They've given up 207 through 7 games this year. Now, I know it's not fair to compare them to the best teams they've had, but those are the 5 Super Bowl championship teams, 81, 84, 88, 89, 94. I mean, and they're going to pass that total by Thanksgiving. So defensively, well, we know that the Niners have big trouble. And offensively, Jeff George has given them a spark. We'll see if it lasts, but there's no question. The way he threw the ball and got everybody involved, Tom, they have to be excited.
Well, you saw a couple of things. We saw Jeff George throw every kind of conceivable pass that you can throw. Down the middle off his back foot, he throws a great ball 40, 50 yards downfield, doesn't have to step into it. He reads the crossing routes in a way that I think makes these receivers excited about having him at quarterback. But I think what happens in the long haul will mean a great deal when you look at the history of Jeff George. And then we were talking about first today, Leroy Horde's first 100-yard game since 1996. And the defense looks good when you score those kinds of points. It all goes together.
Goes together. I mean, 40 points once, we'll see. But he looked good throwing. And
yes.
Minnesota now climbing their way. What? Finally. Well, they're still kind of in the basement at 3-4, but there's hope in a division which is very interesting. Speaking of which, the Detroit Lions coming off an emotional win last week over these Vikings. Carolina Panthers coming off a real emotional win for George Seaver going back to San Francisco. So they met at Carolina today. Which team would stay hot? Let's see. And he was one of our favorite players. Now Panthers coach Sam Mills, a.k.a. the Field Mouse. Hoping his defense would do the job, but it was the Lions' defense that did the job at the goal line all day. Ron Rice stuffed William Floyd, and then watch Mark Carrier come up, which allows Porsche to make a play.
And watch how deep he gets into the backfield to hit that. It's about 5 yards deep in the backfield. You're going to crush every play when you do that.
Steve Berline rolls right on 3rd and goal, but it's incomplete. And so John Casey at the foot with a field goal, but it's 3-0, not 7-0 Panthers. Detroit in their own territory. Charlie Batch, the ball tipped away from Greg Hill, and it lands in the hands of the big fella, Sean Gilbert. So again, a short field, but again, it's Mark Carrier who plays a big role for the Lions.
Yeah, this almost looks like an instant replay. Just watch Mark Carrier. He lines up. Watch where he hits this play. It's about 3 yards deep in the backfield. So when you can do that, and then watch him play pass defense. Here's Mark Carrier. The route that he's looking for is coming from the other side of the football field, and you just have to be aware of where the pattern's coming from. Does a great job of fading to a pick.
So, Terry Fair receives a kickoff, and Mike Minter pops it loose. Mike Skurlock recovers for Carolina. And here they are again on 1st and goal. Tim Biakabatuka, the Zairian zip for 3 yards. 2nd and goal. Here's James Jones and Scott Kowalkowski that penetrate for a loss of 2. So 3rd and goal from the 5. Furline, incomplete. Another field goal. So 3 times in there, they just get the field goals. It's a 10-9 game. That allows Charlie Batch to throw to David Sloan, and he dives in for a 22-yard touchdown to make it 17-9. Another touchdown makes it 24-9. And the surprising Detroit Lions, a Bobby Ross. Maybe Herman Moore doesn't play. You know about Barry Sanders. Rivers, their lead running back, leaves early. Greg Hill ends up with 70 yards. The Lions are in first.
And Biakabatuka only 10 yards.
When we return, oh boy, the Bengals at the Colts. Jets, Oakland. Would Heidi be present out west? We'll be back.
It works with the blazers, it works with the big shirts, it works with the...
When I present a product on the Home Shopping Network, my customers trust that the quality is exactly what I say it is.
We test over 50,000 items a year.
Every product in our program has passed rigorous quality testing.
We test for washability, wearability, fit.
Does it operate according to the instructions? Is it safe?
Gemstones, gold, silver, it's all tested.
We use it and abuse it.
Our customers don't need to worry about the quality of Home Shopping Network products.
That's our job.
Time is running out to cast your votes for the greatest golf moments of this century. Visit our website at thegolfchannel.com or stop by your participating local retailer. The contest ends November 1st, so don't miss out on the chance to win great prizes, including a Century 2000 by Buick. And watch for the top 18 moments on the Golf Channel in November. The greatest golf moments of the 20th century, presented by Buick, only on the Golf Channel.
To register for the Buick Century 2000 and other great prizes, stop by Bob Daniels Buick, 960 Morse Road.
When Chris Chelios faces Tony Amante and the Blackhawks, former teammates become enemies the second they hit the ice. Blackhawks, Red Wings, Friday at 7 on ESPN.
It's ESPN Sunday Night Football. Charlie Batch and the Lions offense will try to pounce on Warren Sapp and the frightening Bucs D in an NFC Norris showdown. Buccaneers-Lions next Sunday at 8:15 on ESPN.
I am so there.
It's one of the shortest commutes in the NFL. Cincinnati 110 miles up the road to face the Indianapolis Colts. Corey Dillon, 6 carries, 7 yards, out early first quarter, cut on right arm. But meanwhile, Peyton Manning, no cut, just cuts like a knife to Marvin Harrison. Good coverage, 56 yards, 7-0 Colts.
Yeah, Harrison covered by cornerback Roosevelt Blackman. You can see there he had his head in the backfield, so he had to actually make a grab for Harrison because he didn't see the route he was running. Got well behind him. Harrison gets a touchdown. And then you see right there again, this is another view of the play. That's the fake that he actually saw, but you never see it if your head's not in the backfield.
Starvin Marvin Harrison, 156 yards receiving today on 8 catches. Meanwhile, Achilles Smith sacked by Chad Bratsky. Bengals turned the ball over on downs. That was a 4th down gamble early. So the score is still 7-0 on 3rd down. Look at how patient Peyton Manning is. Well, he couldn't be that patient. He dumps it to Terrence Wilkins. The little guy is a good player for these Colts. Down to the 1-yard line, Tommy.
Yeah, let's take a couple of looks at this play. Look at the pressure that Manning's under, and look how he responds to it, and look at the catch that Wilkins makes for him to get in the end. So a combination of a lot of things making this team successful.
So that gets it down to the 1, and then they give it to their number 1 draft pick, Edgerrin James, touchdown. He had 2 on the day, 14-0 Colts at this point. Meanwhile, the Bengals' 3rd down problems continue. This is Mike Peterson sacking the rookie Achilles Smith. And then later on in the corner on 3rd and long, Sean King with the trip. Chad Bratsky puts a little mustard on it on a bun, and 5 sacks of Smith in the first half by the Colts defense. And then Mark Thomas falling on Smith, lands hard on the right leg. He had to leave the game. At this point, I mean, it was a foregone conclusion as Jeff Blake came in, and the Colts go on to win it by the count of 31-10 as Peyton Manning throwing for, well, close to 300 yards in this game, 284.
This is a team just learning to win, Chris, and I think for the Bengals, obviously the only weapon they've really been able to depend on all year is Corey Dillon. He left the game early with 7 yards, and it just doesn't work.
A young team like the Colts, you figure this might be a game they'd stumble with, but the Bengals are another story. So are the Saints, and boy, was the Giants defense ready. And the Seahawks have been waiting for some offense when they get it today against the Bills.
Introducing a radically new SUV, the new Nissan Xterra. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Oh, boy, I gotta tell you, this big New Yorker is the quintessential New York pizza.
This is what pizza is supposed to be. Dripping with so much cheese, you got to fold it to eat it.
And, man, it is New York big, 16 inches across. How do I know so much about New York pizza?
Because New York,
I want to be your next senator.
The big New Yorker pizza from Pizza Hut. Big enough to feed all your constituents at a very un-New York price.
$9.99. What do I think this is? Arkansas?
The big New Yorker pizza from Pizza Hut. Another one of the best pizzas under one roof.
Ranger Rex here to help keep you prepared for any shopping situation. Shopping can get pretty extreme, so always wear proper gear. Have the right equipment, and protect yourselves from the elements. And to be totally prepared, remember to carry a shopper's best friend, your Visa card. Because at REI, the country's most exciting adventure store, you can hike, bike, climb, and kayak. You just can't use American Express.
I'm gonna have to ask you to leave, sir.
Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Tomorrow on ESPN at 4:30 Up Close, at 5 NFL Primetime, at 5:45 Sports Center, and at 7 Monday Night Countdown. On ESPN2 at 7 RPM tonight, at 8 PWBA Bowling, and continuous scores and news on the bottom line. And on ESPN Classic, beginning at 5, an evening of classic World Series games. Do you have all the ESPN networks?
Keep your eye on Ohio State's Michael Wiley. A long one in the dome.
Ohio State, Minnesota at noon, Saturday on ESPN.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime. Mike Ditka's Saints won on opening day. They haven't won since. They're in the Meadowlands to play the Giants. Kent Graham. Pressure. But he hits Amani Toomer, who is not down, and he rumbles to the 43. The Giants 10 of 17 on third down conversions. Very un-Giant-like. They're one of the worst in the league coming in. Kent Graham, not to be confused with Fran Tarkenton, although they both wear number 10. It's a rushing touchdown by the quarterback. The first offensive touchdown in 11 quarters for the G-Man, who lead it 7-0. Now, Ricky Williams getting involved for Mike Ditka today, Tom.
Yeah, William Rolfe here going to pull out the nice toss from Tolliver to Ricky Williams. Does a great job of focusing on the ball. And I love the fact that he didn't run out of bounds. He got every yard he could get. The block right there is going to be on Jason Sehorn. You see Rolfe kick him out right there. And again, look at the extra 5 yards that Williams goes and gets because he doesn't run out of bounds.
Well, now those tricky Saints. Lamar Smith on the halfback option. Oh, he had Eddie Kennison open. Saints at 5 yards in the second quarter. Now, Kent Graham at the end of the half, Tom, at 17-3. What should the Saints do?
Knock it down.
What do they do?
Knock it down.
No, it's Joe Jurevicius with a touchdown. And the Giants have now gone ahead 24-3. Yow.
You take another look, and look at Jurevicius. He's running the route he wants to run, getting to be the deepest receiver, getting behind everybody who doesn't knock the ball down.
Billy Joe Tolliver. Jesse Armstead with the pick down to the 12-yard line. And that will set up Joe Montgomery, second-round pick from Ohio State. With Gary Brown out. Boy, wow, what a move at the 5 for a touchdown, 31-3. Billy Joe McAllister will jump off the Tallahatchie Bridge. 3 picks of Tolliver here. That one is picked off by Ryan Phillips at the 1. Tolliver yanked. Mike Ditka's just weary of the whole situation. I'm sorry, he is. And the Giants win it going away, 31-3. The Saints, as we said, have not won since opening day. Mike Ditka, seething.
We'll keep trying. Can't blame anybody. I have to take the blame. I'm the coach. It's my responsibility to get them ready to play, and it's my responsibility to get them to where they know what they're doing, and if they don't, it makes it hard. There's not much else to say, fellas. You saw the game, you know.
Well, Mike knows what he saw. And the Giants, Tommy, what are they, an offensive juggernaut now?
Well, consider the fact that the Giants lost Gary Brown, their lead runner. They lost their kicker, Brad DeLuiso. Ricky Williams gained 100 yards. I mean, it's a situation where Mike's got a lot of work to do, and I can't answer the questions for him.
No, and he's having trouble answering them himself. It's a painful performance by the New Orleans Saints. When we return, Dorsey Levens. Would Dorsey be the horse for Green Bay and San Diego? Or would Junior Seau, back to his normal hair color, do the job for the Bulls?
Gravity, the force that holds the Earth in orbit around the sun, also holds the car to the road around a hairpin turn. But in extreme conditions, even gravity can use help. The reassuring performance of the RL with Vehicle Stability Assist from Acura.
Let's talk hard-working engines. Pretty rough, huh? Well, you wanted full off-road capabilities. You know, just in case all the drive-thrus get moved to the mountains. But guess what? You got a hard-working engine. Better get a hard-working oil. This is Quaker State 4x4, a synthetic blend for hard-working engines. It's been tested for pure maximum protection. Nothing's better. Quaker State, sensible technology. What more do you need to know?
Betty, do you have a date? Would you like to go to the dance? Many arrangements for the prom? Such a dork.
Isn't that a cute dress, Betty? Yeah, last season.
Hi, Betty.
WCW Mayhem. It starts in the ring. It just doesn't have to end there.
Oh, my goodness. That was so rude.
If I had one of those TV rating boxes on my television, the #1 show in the country would be 11 p.m. Sports Center. I never miss it. In my opinion, it's the best thing going. Okay, maybe it won't hit #1, but it'll definitely give Dharma and Greg a run for their money.
A very underrated defense. Daryl Gardner forces an incompletion, knocks Drew Bledsoe to the ground.
Face it, America. Situation comedy, it's a dead genre.
Not gonna like this either. 25 yards.
After a rough trip to Mile High, the Packers take on the AFC West leading lightning bolts of Mike Riley and Eric Kramer, the quarterback. But Kramer picked off by Mike McKenzie, one of the McKenzie brothers. The Packers go to work. Brett Favre, play fake. They'll straight it, 24 yards. 4 plays later, Favre from the 7. Look at the roll backwards to William Henderson. Makes a nice move at the 1 to bull his way in. 7-0 Packers, who had 20,000 cheeseheads at the Murph. Next series, Kramer. Oh, man, it's picked off by Fred Vinson. He was picked off 4 straight times in the second half last week. 2 back-to-back interceptions here. So Dorsey Levens bounces outside. See the Packers getting touchdowns off these turnovers. 6 yards, 14-0 Pack. 6 seconds left in the half. No timeouts. Forget a field goal. Oh, just throw it away. Eric Kramer, what are you doing? Stopped by Tyrone Williams, and the Chargers get nothing. It just was strange, Tom.
Well, take another look at it, and look at Natron Means running at the top of the screen. He's wide open. If you throw him that ball, he's going to get in. And Kramer's out of the pocket and never sees him.
Awareness, clock management, it all went south today for the Lightning Bolts, who had such a nice start. Favre in the third quarter, it's a bomb to Corey Bradford, and you're going to get this call, Tom.
Well, you're going to get that call almost every time. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I think that, less and less contact is being allowed downfield.
So it's a 44-yard pass interference call, and Favre to Schrader. So off Charger mistakes, it's always touchdowns, Tom, not field goal. And look at this. Boom, the dunk. It's 21-3. Back. 3rd and 9. Eric Kramer. What? Picked off by Tyrone Williams. 4 red zone possessions. Kramer 1 of 7 for 5 yards and 2 interceptions. Get him out of there. So it's Jim Harbaugh's turn. And his first pass, you'll never guess what happens. What? On the first pass by Harbaugh. Tyrone Williams is there again. Oh, by the way, Harbaugh picked off 3 times. So there's no way Brett Favre was going to throw in 2 straight clunkers. And the Chargers, it's shades of last year when Leaf and Wheelahan were pathetic and turning the ball over all the time. 6 interceptions by the Packers, 3 from Kramer, 3 from Harbaugh, and an important win for the Green Bay Packers, who win at 31-3, who, again, understand going for touchdowns against an offensively inept ball club.
You talk about the mindset of the Green Bay Packers when the game first started. Brett Favre only completed 12 passes, but he was throwing the ball down the field. They were in a frenzy to get those first 2 scores on the board. They understand that, yes, San Diego has great run defense, but how will they ever make up these points if we put them on the board? And it's a way of letting his defense play the game the way they want, the Green Bay defense. So, yeah, it's a one-sided football team. They have great defense, and they're struggling offensively, and the quarterbacks are helping the other team win.
And a big win for the Packers as they get going again and stay tied for first. Doug Flutie as the Bills begin a 3-game road trip in Seattle and a wild Raiders-Jets game, and we've seen that before.
Dry.
How do you plan on paying unexpected medical bills? Conseco's wide range of health policies can help. Conseco. Step up.
The Blair Witch Project, guaranteed to be at Blockbuster. Now, Blockbuster takes you deeper into the woods with Sticks and Stones, investigating the Blair Witch. I'm so scared. A 30-minute companion video with in-depth interviews and shocking testimonials. Sticks and Stones, only at Blockbuster. Rent it for free when you buy or rent the Blair Witch Project.
Shell's Wonderful World of Golf. Hale Irwin, Tom Watson. Very close to the action here. Tom Watson has a terrific sense of humor. It's that Irwin you gotta watch. Little mood lighting in this one. Not sure what's going on here.
Get in on all the action. Irwin versus Watson. TPC at Jasna Polana. Next Tuesday at 7 on ESPN.
In recent government crash tests, no other SUV outperformed the Nissan Pathfinder in driver front impact collisions, passenger front impact collisions, driver side or passenger side impact collisions. You might say it's like being taken off the endangered species list.
The Buffalo Bills in Seattle to face the Seattle Seahawks. Losers of it. Oh, my goodness. There's was Sterling at the game?
Jim Zorn.
Jim Zorn's at the game. Well, he would have been pleased with John Kitna to wide open Christian Euphoria. After big kickoff return by Amon Green, and then first to go from the 7, Kitna, Derek Mays. Right away, the Seahawks lead it 7-0.
Yeah, and watch Derek Mays right there. Does a great job of fighting his way off the line of scrimmage, getting into the seam in the middle, and making a nice catch for his quarterback. Then Kitna again, back to throw. Look at Sean Dawkins. Sean Dawkins doing a great job running across the middle. That's what you want from your receiver, courage to run in the middle of the field and make catches for
Well,
you.
they don't have big... look at Sam Adams, the speed that he showed burying Flutie at the snap. Adams was a man possessed in the first half. Then Flutie looking for Peerless Price. He's below average Price. It goes out of his hands into the hands of Jay Bellamy for the pick. Watch the replay. Eric Moulds is out for over a month. And it was that sort of day for Buffalo, who had some bad Dungeness crabs, I think, on this day. Kitna hangs into Mays for a big gain, a great catch, Tommy.
Yeah, we talk about the concentration in the middle of the field. We just saw Peerless Price drop one. You come back, you see Mays make this catch right in the middle of the field, downfield.
And it's Derek Mays again from Kitna. Wow, that's beautiful. Kitna caboodle, 43 yards, 20-0 Seahawks, 5 catches for almost 100. And 2 TDs for Mays in the first half.
Yeah, and Mays shows great speed right there, running by Antoine Winfield. And Antoine Winfield has good speed, so we know that Mays can really fly.
With a score 26-9 in the fourth quarter, the blitz, and look at Flutie, who was just under pressure all day long, to Jay Remersma. It's 26-16 with 6 minutes to go from the shotgun. Michael Sinclair to fumble Sam Adams. Boy, the keg had a big game. And Doug Flutie won Canada Day A when it was at Buffalo last month, but this was Canada Day when they came down from British Columbia. And this is a big win for the Seahawks as John Kitna threw for 276 yards. Seattle wins it 26-16. In 2 weeks, it's gone from a real rosy season to a questionable one for Buffalo. And for Seattle, who has some outstanding players on defense. Look, they're not going to stretch the field unbelievably on offense, but if you start scoring, here's a team that has defense and maybe some offense.
Well, certainly Seattle misses Joey Galloway, but they do a great job of doing what they do well, handing the ball off to Ricky Waters. I think Kitna's getting very comfortable at the quarterback, starting to get some favorite receivers down the football field. And the Buffalo Bills, 24-50 for Flutie, so those 26 that he didn't complete, guaranteed 20 of them under tremendous pressure. That line has to do a better job of protecting him.
Best the Seahawks have looked on both sides of the ball this season. When we return on NFL Primetime. Oh, they've had a storied history, the Raiders and the Jets. This one might add to the lore just a little bit. Stay with us.
Hey folks, Russell Evelyn coming to you from the one and only My Car Co, where we work for you here at 3296 Westerville Road. And behind me are just a few of the vehicles that our customers have traded in and received $1,000 minimum trade-in, push, pull, or dragged in. And folks, these are the types of vehicles that they're trading for. Nice, dependable, late model, low mile vehicles with available extended warranties like this 95 Oldsmobile Aurora. Call the number on your screen regardless of your credit history, folks. If you're looking for a full-size pickup truck, a mid-size pickup truck with extra cab, four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, we've got them, folks, and we've got a pay plan to go along with it. If you're looking for a minivan, a full-size van, or even a cargo van, we've got plenty for you to choose from there as well. And of course, plenty of these utility vehicles, one of my personal favorites, in the Jeeps, the GMC Jimmys, the Blazers, the Explorers, and lots of other nice vehicles out here. Don't sell yourself short, folks. Call today at My Car Co, where we work for you.
Running down the top 20, a humble man with a heroic swing. He defied all odds and rewrote baseball history. Then, his prodigious talent and pure athleticism made him the most formidable offensive threat the game had ever seen. Sports Century athlete number 14, Hank Aaron at 10, and number 13, Wilt Chamberlain at 10:30. Friday on ESPN, presented by General Motors.
As far as playing in Oakland, the New York Football Jets have not been there since 1972. In '68, it was the Heine game when Oakland came from way behind. Early on, it's the Jets that have the lead, Rick Meyer, but no, it's Eric Allen that makes the pick. It's a 3-3 game at this point. The Raiders have the ball their own 9. Tyrone Wheatley, who's enjoyed a rebirth, but not today. It's a fumble, and Brian Cox recovers at the 9. So right after the fumble, look at Rick Meyer. Whoop! The Russian judge gave him an 8 on that dive. It's a 9-yard touchdown on a quarterback draw. 10-3 to Rich Gannon for the Raiders. Protection. Think he has time, Tom?
Oh, my goodness.
But it's a fumble! Omar Stoutmeyer. Not Mel Stottlemyre, but Stoutmeyer recovers. John Gruden says, how can this happen? We're about to score. The Jets take over at their own 4. Meyer. Dwayne Crabetto said 2 strong games. 34 yards. The Jets out of trouble. They lead at 10-3 at the half. So the Jets, second and goal, Rick Meyer to Eric Green, 2 yards in the third quarter. It's 17-3 the Jets. It's now 20-3. Gannon, pump fake to Tim Brown, who had an unbelievable day. It's 20-10. The Raiders trail it by 10. It's now 23-17, under $1:15 to go, 4th and 1. Gannon, Tim Brown, 17 yards. First down, Raiders. 3rd down and 10. Gannon to Terry Mickens, 23 yards. Gannon with under 50 seconds to Tim Brown, 36 yards. He's down to the 5. So 1st and goal with 39 seconds left. Gannon to Zach Crockett. Are you kidding me? They win the game if he catches the ball. Tom.
Well, Zach Crockett took his eye off the football. You can see right there, he's got it, and he gets ready to turn his head, just drops the ball.
So 2nd goal, 35 seconds to go. Let's try someone else. Gannon, buying time, as he can do. Shakes 2 tacklers, fires it, and it goes through the Jets' hands into James Jett. J-E-T-T, Jett. He had great protection from the line. He buys time. And watch this. Does it go through the Jets' hand? Look, whoop, makes the move. And then, looked like New York might have been able to make a play. Bill Parcells just looks on and sees his team fall into the abyss of 1-6. So the Raiders come from way back. Gannon, 26 of 51 for 352. He also ran for 60 yards. Tim Brown, 12 for 213.
Yeah, and I think that there's one area that Bill Parcells has been concerned with his football team. It's not only the quarterback position, it's also the cornerback position. So they're not doing a very good job of coverage.
I tell you, the Oakland Raiders, they kind of blew a couple of games early this year. They're 4-3. They could easily be 6-1. They're a force to be reckoned with. What a performance by Gannon and Brown, and what a big comeback against one of their ancient AFL rivals. When we NFL